Good evening and welcome to the Monday catch-up show with myself, Ektar, with the Killzor, with Still Mojo. The only time you'll get all three of us on camera.
That's because usually they don't find cameras that fit all three of us.
Can't get Daki's,
Muscles,
intelligence,
guns.
Guns. You
Yeah,
name
I
it.
don't fit in any of those criteria. Sorry.
So today we're going to have a quick rundown, basically, of what's happened throughout the season. A little discussion about the patch we just had, where some changes came in that brought about new tanks coming in, slight changes to tanks. Then we're going to look ahead to the playoffs and the finals as well, have a little chat about that. And we've also got some fun videos for you guys throughout this as well to intertwine and have a little highlight, if you like, a little look back on things that happened during the season.
At least people can see now how much taller I am than both of you.
You're not taller at all. The seats are actually all the same level, so Daki doesn't actually appear taller whatsoever.
You want to stand up and see, midget?
Midget? Well, actually, I'm not the shortest here, so hey,
Yeah, but
I'm not the one.
I like Mojo, so that's the difference.
Oh wow, it's going to be this again. I'm getting double teamed once again. Mojo, come
Wouldn't
on.
be the
You're
first
teaming
time.
yourself up, man.
This is unfair, guys. This is unfair. Throughout the show, you're free to ask as many questions as you like. We will try and get through to them. We're not able to do that during the normal shows when we're casting matches. But part of this show is to be able to field questions from the chat. It's only going to be from Twitch chat, I'm afraid. So if you are watching on YouTube or Facebook, well, join the Twitch channel, and we can get your questions in from there. Also, you can fire in questions from perhaps Twitter. We might be able to pick them up there. Now, looking back at the weekend, we had some... Well, it started off business as usual on Thursday. Matches that we would expect to be won by the teams won.
Questionable week for many teams. Kind of some of the surprises. Who Cares even made that meme video about themselves because they had about 4 big throws through entire season.
Yeah.
And they ended up in 4 tiebreaker losses. So it was a really, really peculiar week for several teams, and it came to the last match in a season. Like literally, Oops and Utopia were deciding what is going on.
Are you real?
I was just wondering if you're trying to be like a little teapot. Ah! Short and
he's
stout.
real. Stay off of him.
Okay.
Yeah, so the first day, it was Thursday. It was me and Daki casting then. Utopia defeated Isuba, Ding defeated Who Cares, Oops defeated Savage Squad. All kind of expected. Then we went into Friday.
Kind of expected. I'd say Savage Squad could have been 4-0 up at one point against Oops, but some things happened there.
For Savage Squad there, I think.
True, true.
It was.
No, that was the week before.
They went to 2-0 up. They went 2-0 up.
2-0 up, and then Oops came straight back and won everyone. Yeah, because they beat them twice in Himmelsdorf.
And then Runeberg, Savage could have won both rounds easily. Well, not easily, but they could have won both rounds as well. So they could have put Oops 4-0 down.
Then on the next day, Isuba defeated Savage Squad 5-2. Gohard defeated Oops 5-3, which was a bit of an upset. Kind of cost Oops basically first place. And then Ding smashed Utopia 5-0. That was on the Friday.
That was the first sign Utopia wasn't going to do so well this week.
I don't know, we already said, with Utopia, there is that peculiar case. They start super strong in a season, then toward the middle, where people are actually boosting their tactics, their plays, and everything goes well. Utopia starts going slowly down, and they're plummeting down toward the end of the season. And that's a big problem, because only time they actually joined us here in the season finals when they were in top 2. So now they will be forced to play playoffs, and if they follow tradition, it's not going to end well, but certainly they still have a chance at least. So I hope they will prepare better than for the last match, because this last match was really horrible.
Yeah. Then on
We can't
Saturday,
even blame Miloš, He's not even in the team anymore. So who do we blame now?
It's not Miloš's fault, no. So then on Saturday, that was the first of a time we actually had a broadcast on Saturday this season. Who Cares Isuba, drawn out match. Who Cares actually winning that one 5-4. So again, the only points Who Cares had all season came from tiebreakers. Ding smashed Savage Squad 5-1, and then, well, what basically was the show match of the weekend, if not the entire season, Gohard Kaznakru. Kaznakru coming back from 4-1 down to win that on tiebreaker 5-4. Mojo, you casted that one, and it was amazing, wasn't it?
That tiebreaker was pretty much cool to watch. Kazna even played with one replacement player, Vale. And
yeah, but Vala is the best I know.
LT Nexus.
Voila.
He said we were a bit cruel to him, but honestly, I told him we were actually going easy.
Let's just say Vala made a big splash, okay?
Hey! in with the memes. We can actually look back at that one because we have some highlights prepared from Kaznakru Gohard. We can actually bring up on screen and talk through because that match was absolutely fantastic, to be honest. Kaznakru really showing that they can come back from this.
Inception,
it's like a double one. You can see us doing everything here. We saw some, funny situations, shall we say. Hulknet killing himself, Mary getting pushed off the edge of cliff.
And that wasn't funny at all.
To the plan.
Exactly.
It was all according to the plan.
You didn't find it funny? I mean, this is where it all kind of came. This is Dares actually surviving on that sliver of health, Mojo. You talked about this
one.
one.
That was like 3 HP survival, but that mouse that shot him actually did a really high roll, almost 550. So, yeah, but still 3 HP. It's not something cool to see, and then you win round because of that. Gohard and Kazna were going toe-to-toe here most of the time.
I remember this round because Stefan absolutely put a cog in the wheel of Haiba. He just outtraded him like 4-1 or something. The wheel stopped spinning there for a second, right, Mojo?
Yeah, cogs are really, really a big problem. So it just depends how you see
it
them.
It really kind of depends
there.
on the situation, how big the cog is.
Cog, that's where I got confused. I heard something different perhaps there and it triggered us off.
It's because you have a dirty imagination.
Yes, this is where Stefan rolls these T100s. He kind of stops for a minute and is like, did that just happen? And then turns and shoots him.
Yes. I remember that one.
So yeah, I mean, at this point, the teams were back and forwards. It was hard to pick out kind of who's going to step ahead in this match altogether, but you can never really count out Yizny at all.
Gohard played really well here, man. Like taking out Haiba in this moment on said river, super risky move, but profitable one. I don't know, again, Kazna was sluggish on rotations there. They were bumped back completely wherever they would go by Gohard, and complete map domination in entire Sand River was on Gohard's side. So really good match going for them. As long as they played the maps where they could rotate, actually Gohard was doing better.
Yeah, I mean, Gohard came out on top, as you're saying. Gohard took the 4-1 lead, and it looked like Kaznakru were really going to struggle. This was quite funny, actually. Vetso unable to defeat Annihilator here,
doesn't
but
really matter because he still
held
killed
Annihilator underwater.
Yeah, but
it was a trade.
Vetso could have survived here if they teamed up better. Also, the comms of Kazna didn't look that best in this round, at least on the start. And the plan.
This shot was
amazing.
This
shot was amazing. This shot was the one that looked like it turned around. Yeah.
It almost saved the round.
And then this bit, watch the match counter right now. 2 seconds, 1 second, 0. Just as Yizny gets that kill.
He pretty much got killed between 1 and 0. Like the shell was already in the air at 1.
Yeah.
But Kazna knew exactly where he was.
I think Piotr even took a bad route towards it because he was sitting on like the lower side for a while. He could have just driven straight towards him. I think I was saying in 1 or 2 seconds.
Haiba actually told him to take a lower route on TeamSpeak. He told him on TeamSpeak, so because he was on Russia, so he didn't pick up a shell from Kaizu.
Kaizu couldn't really double push him. I think he'd be spotted.
Well,
Vetso was calling out the entire time where he was as well. So Vetso knew because he was saying that was the only place he could be realistically.
No, Vetso told him exactly where he was.
And this is where it turns around on mines.
This was actually really cool play by Kazna, and I don't understand the sacrifice by Gohard. Like, Gohard from the start saw here that Kazna has a light on H1, and they knew that he could reset them from a side. And then Isna just did the only logical move. Once they killed an mouse, he just used his shield, and it double tapped Zafar. Zafar was like, sandwiched.
He got wrecked by the light tank in that situation, yeah. Negative going down here to Kami Piotr and Vala. Diplomat picking up his triple kill. And then on this one, Kaznakru going with the lower road and Gohard almost punishing him for
Everyone took here a lineup for a push on a hill, but Kazna had no such intentions. They pushed the water straight away, started the cap pressure, so Gohard was pretty much forced to do some moves. There was some luck involved here in
there was major mistakes from Kazna, to be honest.
Vala getting set on fire,
no, that wasn't the mistake. The mistake was Haiba took too long to run away from the rock, and when he was trying to run away from the rock, he took about 2 IS-7 shots, actually getting away, which meant he was a one-shot, and Vala had to run as well. If he runs earlier and survives on 1k HP, then he and Vala can just play from the rock and kill anybody that tries to push them.
Also, Kaizu missed Vale in last shot before he died. It was like a really close shot, and he just missed him by a hairline, and that one actually saved him a lot.
Vala getting his triple kill now on the last round here on Ghost Town. Great play by Yizny and Dare, splitting off different ways here as well.
This is a round where Kazna really on the final brawl on Ghost Town came on strong. They never plan to cap, took a really super strong setup, pushed the pincer attack, a risky one against Gohard, who were defending, and just took them out by pure force. It did look like they will lose in one moment, but once they dropped some guns and they started splitting over the map, they actually coordinated much better than Gohard guys.
When can we afford to sit around a table instead of a box? Well,
we just have the box because we want to make Ryan. We want to make Ryan feel at home. So.
The box is actually on top of a table. It's a wooden box. It's not a cardboard box. So Daki doesn't quite feel at home right now, sadly, but that's okay.
Yeah, this is better for drumming.
Yeah.
There's no bridge either, so Ryan doesn't feel exactly at home.
You're the troll, dude, more than me ever if you were going to be under a bridge.
Who knows?
Now, that was the things. Can we get Daki's shark outfit for the finals? Oh, that can only come out when Daki really looking for some kind of tips on his channel,
I
think,
buy a smaller one, actually.
I'm not buying another one.
Buy one that's a bit cooler as well.
That thing cost me $50, dude.
Daki was very clear in telling us that he was
gonna wear it. I'm gonna
butt
buy
naked
it for you.
in that suit other than his underwear, so don't get that picture in your head, folks.
It was hot. And not just hot, but like really hot.
Really hot, and you made it hotter.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So that was the results then, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Then we had Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Then on Sunday, we had 2 matches, which actually, well, one match kind of was for money for Who Cares. Who Cares again, blowing a lead, losing 5-4 to Gohard. But then Utopia, oops, smashing Utopia 5-0 and securing their place second in the standings, which we can actually bring up now as well. And now that we're going to talk about standings, you guys can actually see the positioning of everyone in the table. Kaznakru and Oops now secured at second place, and that makes them get through to land finals safely.
Yeah, number 1 team and number 2 team straight go to the land finals. 4 to 6 will play playoffs, which you will watch on Sunday. And 7 and 8 there for relegation. So we will watch on playoffs Ding versus Esuba, number 3 against number 6, and Utopia versus Gohard, number 4 against number 5. So by skill proximity, it should be Utopia and Gohard, but I'm really worried here for Utopia after watching their several last matches. If they don't come in strong in this match, and they're swapping lineups lately also, so I don't know what's going on with that. It might be another LAN finals in Poland without Polish team here.
It's interesting to see the league split just now, because it wasn't necessarily exactly how we predicted it. Although, to be fair, the top 3 teams are the top 3 teams that we kind of thought would be there challenging each other. We did say it was going to be between Kazna, Oops, Ding, and more than likely Gohard pushing for the top 2 spots. I think we said
Ding and Gohard in the beginning of the season.
Yeah. Ding and
Gohard just purely on paper.
That was our
so we're not even close at all, to be honest.
And to be honest, we did think Kaznakru would be pushing them. Like, yeah, we didn't dismiss Kaznakru.
If the rankings would look like we thought it'd be Ding or Gohard first or second, then Kazna, then maybe then Oops, and then Utopia, and then the others.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't say we were actually really close at all.
Not even. Not by slightest.
It's been an interesting season run for the teams, though. I mean, like, looking at the way Oops started out and then how they kind of came strong, looking at the way Kaznakru came in really strong at the end of the season. Now it's first time Kaznakru have ever been top in the playoff situation.
A lot of new players here for Oops. We have a couple of new players. Kazna lost Stefan, had to replace him. They were experimenting in a start. Ding, Koritz left Ding, like their team leader, tactician. In-game leader left mid-season, replaced by one player from CS region. So now we heard actually today that he is a tactician now for Rush, but not like as a player, but as a coach. So that's going to be interesting if that's true, because he will maybe meet his old teammates on grand finals.
That'd be funny.
Somebody just pointing out in chat, although we won't perhaps have a full Polish team, the Oops are pretty much half Polish anyway, so kind of. We'll have half of a Polish team there, maybe. Yeah, it's been a crazy season. And to top it all off, coming in near the end of the season, we had a patch coming in now. End of season was surprised with win losses, how to help newcomers against old teams. So the new teams coming up, what do you think they need to do to kind of prepare themselves for the more experienced teams?
Most of the teams that come fresh in the league are not aware of amount of pressure they actually have to endure. Like amount of time they have to invest in looking for tactics, inventing new ones, practices, and more practices. And above all of that, you need to make contacts with teams that you actually need to train with, because if you have bad training partners, you cannot achieve anything. So all of that combined, it's super hard for a team that's coming from silver and no one is actually interested to train with them and just start doing really well. It's super hard because it's like, I don't know, like Wall Street. Everything is already established and you have to really come in strong if you want to make your presence.
I think it's also a part about mentality, to be honest. If you come into the league thinking that you're going to lose against teams like Ding and Kazna, yeah, you're going to lose against teams like Ding and Kazna, that's for sure. But if you come in with that attitude, you're not going to win anything. You should approach every single match as a winnable match.
Potential match. But you don't want to come across too cocky in that situation.
No, actually,
either.
you should come across cocky because, like...
That's the only thing you have.
But when it backfires against you, it doesn't
matter
quite
if it backfires against you. It's about having the right mentality to win a match. And if your mentality of, oh, I think maybe I'll win, you're never going to win. So yeah, being cocky is good.
No, I wouldn't say like, I wasn't saying like maybe we'll win, but you can always say, yeah, I think we have a good chance.
No, you should be convinced, because if you're convinced, you convince others. You play against a team, we're going to win, and then you convince the others in your team. If you say we're going to maybe win, doesn't sound that doesn't sound the same.
Okay, okay.
Leadership lessons one-on-one.
Yeah, that's why these two are commanders of very well-known clans, and I'm not. Now, near the end of the season, we had a patch drop that brought about some changes. The FV215B, that was an extremely popular tank used a lot on Runeberg, for example, replaced with the Super Conqueror. Super Conqueror, we can actually bring up some information about that for you guys, a little video as well. It's a new British Tier 10 heavy that's actually finding its place in the league. It's starting to be used on multiple maps, and it's quite a nice tank to play as well in randoms, isn't it?
Super Conqueror for randoms, so-so, but it's very useful lately in Ruinberg again because you can get that upper cooldown position, decap, and on mines we've seen it also in a couple of positions. The problem is it's a slow tank, it's not really fast tank, so you cannot use it on many maps, it's easy to pan its sides. And honestly, even when it's in cooldown, there are positions where you can shoot below the gun and pen that connection between the turret.
Yeah, but it's really hard to hit though on distance, to be honest.
Yeah, on distance it is, but when it starts like a big fight, it's not that hard. Also,
takes time to aim for
HE shells really massacre it still, no matter the like buff
massacres the crew members.
It still takes a lot of time to hit those weak spots in general, to be honest. And when it's on an angle like this, you don't even pen the commander's hatch at all.
-10 gun depression, that really helps, but as we said, I don't think we will see it on Sand River too slow for something like that.
Plays a different role, really, in a way, to what you could do with the FV215B because of the layout of its turret and that gun depression. I mean, the 215B had the back turret, so it had nowhere near the similar gun depression. Over the sides, it was a bit better, but...
You know what I like about this one? It has less numbers in the name. It's just Super Conqueror. No FV2121215B heavy or some stuff like that.
Average damage, 400. I mean, it's become, I mean, it says -7 there, but it's actually -10.
-10.
So it was, it did get changed. It did get changed during super test, so it's understandable. It's okay. But yeah, I mean, the view range is quite decent on it. Its HP's different, decent on it as well. It's become a nice tank. I actually saw someone today complaining in a stream saying, you know, oh, the E5 is now a victim of power creep because of the Super Conqueror. But it's like the Super Conqueror came out and it wasn't anywhere, it wasn't at least as good as the FV. Then everyone's just going to say, why play this new tank? It's not as good. You can never get that balance.
E5 and Super Conqueror don't actually fill the same role at all, to be honest.
Yeah, but you can never get that balance. It's like if people are going to rank tanks in like a system, if it comes in, it's not as good, then immediately it's dismissed. Then if it comes in better, then immediately whatever was there is no longer as good.
Honestly, the huge problem with E5 is that commander hedge up, like we call it. Tumor.
I don't even think it's that bad, like to really be honest.
It's not a tumor.
I think people are just complaining. Like in randoms, the E5 is a beast still, to be honest.
Yeah, but because whenever you don't know where to shoot it, you just shoot there, man.
Yeah, but still, like half the time you don't pen it, and most of the time if you're rocking backwards and forwards, it's actually not that easy to hit. And the rest of the armor still works very well.
Daki's a veteran of one-on-one fights in Himmelsdorf with it.
E5 is still like very enjoyable, to be honest. Like I don't think it's that bad. Maybe the commander's hat should get a little buff, but other than that, like the rest of the armor still works very well, and combined with the gun depression.
But commander hedge for me is just like.
Don't like it. I mean, I've stopped playing it for a while myself because I found it a bit just meh, like not fun to play in a way. I don't know.
I don't know. I enjoy playing like.
I only play overpowered tanks, dude, and shoot gold ammunition with improved equipment. You know, like after this round battle season, I just like put 3 improved equipments on my 5A, so now I have like 8.3 seconds reload. And I'm really bored. I just put a directive on that, push it down a little bit more. How do you enjoy my 8-second reload, dude?
Daki with the power plays. I actually noticed one of your loadouts recently, and you had like substantially more premium shells than normal shells.
I'm colorblind, so all the ammo is the same to me.
It's got different names when you mouse over it, though.
I can't read.
Well, there you go. You heard it here first. Now, during the season, it doesn't always necessarily, although teams have their tactics in play, they know exactly what they want to do, it doesn't necessarily always go quite as planned, shall we say. And teams sometimes have a bit of a whoopsie, a bit of a mistake. And we can actually look back over some of the mistakes we had recently.
We did promise
and see how they'll go. Because we
on
did
the
promise
last
we were going to have a look at this. So, for example, the flying Polishman, Daki, as you said here with Camille.
Almost like a Monty Python, man.
I blame creator for this one, to be honest, like completely.
Oh, this was pure skill.
This is Unji being unsure of what's happening in his life.
Oh!
Oi!
Squashed up butt first by a mouse.
This was a nice move. Like, they actually left him for the last. No one even bothered shooting him until the game was over.
It's like, okay, boys, just move away from him.
That's like a cockroach on the wall, man.
Can't do anything but aim up and down.
Oh,
Alpha's
this
was a blind shot, by the way.
yeah,
It's
on
insane.
Anji. It was beautiful, setting him on
Absolutely
fire.
insane.
Anji was doing such a good job there, man, and just he overstayed his welcome. But this
This is Raven showing what happens when you go on tilt.
we really wished we were on that TeamSpeak in that moment. Like, that would be an entertaining experience. But he did a really great clip before that, and he wanted to finish the job with the next one, and the only thing that he finished was himself, actually. So things happen, guys. Things happen. Professional players and so on. But this was like, if they didn't win the round, at least they won the style points here.
It's just meritorious. Like all he needs to do is reverse and turn rather than face hug a mouse.
Yeah.
Like before he got to this spot, all he had to do was reverse and turn and get past him. But apparently that's too difficult.
I think he did everything correct because I had Shokish and you had Mary, and now I'm 8th on ESL Fantasy and you are 11th.
Luti goes down for this.
Really
He's a good submarine, man.
2000 HP mouse for a 710 HP i7, but what a beautiful move. Hulknick sliding off the cliff here, trying to find the climb and not being able to do it as he nosedives off the end. Not necessarily throwing the match, but making it a bit more difficult for his team at that point.
You have always 7 players, and then you have one more.
This is just insane.
Physics.
He said before, if he's on tilt, the team's on tilt. Thankfully, during that match, when he did go on tilt, his team were able to continue the win.
You know what's amazing for me in this game? Like, they were practically playing 5 versus 7 and winning.
Yeah.
Because Creator was trying to push him back all the time, so both Insane and Creator were out of the fight, and other 5 Oops players were massacring Utopia.
Creator thought he could uppercut Insane back into place, but then he realized he's playing an AMX 50B.
We have an actual tutorial as well from Insane about how to be able to drive the mouse. So let's actually have a look at that one, because I don't know how this is going to be. It's Insane style. There's the mouse. Okay. Right, so that's what it had set up.
I like the part where he's retreating, you know?
Oh, again, Daki. Don't say that in France. It doesn't go down well.
1 gear forward, 4 gears backwards.
Don't make jokes about that in France. They really don't like it.
We are in Poland.
Yeah, I know. I'm just a warning. Don't make jokes like that in France. Oh, there's actually somebody in chat asking, Dirk McCarrot, when will Fantasy update? Fantasy has updated, Dirk McCarrot, so if you look at it, you will be able to see the standings. I sadly finished 18th, wasn't a great place. I was on the first page, though, unlike Wojtek, our league admin, who didn't even choose the right players for the last weekend. Mojo, how did you do?
8th.
Daki?
Somewhere in between.
Who cares, man?
It's that mentality.
Stacky talk for he didn't win. So
man, I lost 4 1v1s against Alpha yesterday. My life can get worse than this, okay? Like, honestly,
you
like, I really don't care.
You put him in your team this
like,
time as well.
You think I'd care about Fantasy? I lost 4 times against Alpha. No, I don't really care at all about Fantasy.
How do you feel about being beaten by Jostrap, Mojo, and even Venetus?
Well, why you overtook Venetus also?
Let's just say it like this: the people that are bad at acting are good at speaking. I guess, you know, they can't perform. They can't perform it, so they have to do it in Fantasy. It's like being a professional FIFA player. You know,
Ooh.
when you get on the pitch, you're still going to suck.
Wow. So you're throwing the rhymes here, man, but you're just missing a shark suit to make a point, you know?
You're saying they talk the talk,
because
but they don't walk the walk.
I don't need a shark shoe to be to have razor sharp teeth.
But what does that mean for you then when you won it last season?
Well, I did both. You know, I performed and I won. That's called asserting dominance. That's just like that's like.
Are you saying that you're alpha? Because right now it sounds like alpha is calling beat you.
Team captains all season to ask them who will actually play.
Yeah, who are you playing? Can you not put this player in your lineup because Mojo's picked him? That's what he was trying to do.
That's what they call friendship, dude.
Friendship is magic, Daki.
Friendship makes the dream.
Okay, teamwork makes the dream work.
Production versus pros match ever.
That would caster production versus pro. I'm playing with the pros, dude.
What's in a match there?
That wouldn't be a match, really. To be honest,
I'd be the only one doing any damage from this team. So like,
straight away there'd be like team kills on Daki.
You would be the one who would flip
It'd be like Daki playing randoms at normal.
Like that entire
just
game.
a teammate shooting him for no reason. Like, oh wait a minute, sorry Daki, didn't mean to do that. Wrong target. I'm colorblind. I didn't have colorblind
production
mode
be
on.
asking questions like, how do I fire?
How do I reload? That's not a tier 10. No, I mean like a caster match against even just a mix, like an all-star matchup would be quite funny. If we had like players from different teams with casters as well playing or something like that, or casting a match where it was just like an all-star lineup, like EU versus RU, or even like players mixed together for a team. That'd be quite cool. Especially if we could do it on the Sandbox server with the improved graphics, because Sandbox is beautiful.
And if we need to play with you, we need to have at least a tier advantage.
This is harsh. This is harsh.
I think we should get at least one extra player because it's
I'll
not
be
like
in a tier 10. They'll all be in tier 8s.
Can we just like flip him in a mouse, push him as a shield?
This is not fair, guys. This is quite mean.
Type 5 to shoot over.
Hello, I'm right here. Hello. This is
yeah, we know,
nice.
but we're discussing the strategy.
Tactics is important part of the game, man. Leadership and all, you know.
Has Daki started working out? Is his one arm's bigger than the other?
That's
when he reaches into the trips.
They're both the same. Okay.
I'm switching arms.
No,
Holding
that
up the
doesn't work.
pizza with 2 arms.
I give love to both my arms.
We actually need to buy him a belt.
Yeah, it feels bad, man.
Daki has a habit of not wearing belts, and sometimes, you know, it's like this. You sometimes see the full moon.
I just love showing off to you, Ryan.
Dude, it's not me that you show off to. It's Mojo that sees it more often than not. And Mojo's had an extreme close-up one time when you were getting up from your desk.
I've not seen Mojo not smile about it a single time. So
never seen a look of terror on someone's face.
Coming from
Mojo.
Mojo is the guy that talks about cogs in the wheel. Okay,
hey,
like he can give cogs. Yeah,
yes.
with a G.
With the G, cogs with the G. Why British tank destroyers are so rarely used by the teams? We did used to see them used quite a lot at the start of the season, but not as much anymore.
One is big, slow, with no armor, and a bad gun. The other one is quick, still the bad gun, and is a box that can be penned by tier 1s.
And you have a Type 5.
True. Type 5 can pretty much do what they do, and the Type 5 has armor as well on top of it to boot. Might be actually replaced the 215B183, so that could be gone soon. We're not soon, but in a future patch for another British TD that has kind of similar playstyle to the other TDs, which are not necessarily fun to play as you're leveling up through them.
We'll see when it comes.
Yeah, possibly. Now, looking ahead into the playoffs, Mojo, you touched on it a bit earlier on. And we know from the ranking structure who's going to be playing against who after the teams competed. So we're going to get Ding versus eSuba. We're going to get Gohard versus Utopia. And how do you think this one's going to go? I mean, we have this lovely little graphic to show everyone watching. So that's the current standings. And from that, 3rd place plays 6th place, 4th place plays 5th place in our playoffs. Doodle-doo. Kasnat and Oops already through.
Well, the favorites here are definitely Ding versus eSuba, but we've seen eSuba beat Ding once, so they cannot really be casual about it, that's for sure. Utopia versus Gohard. Gohard looks much stronger lately, although they lost this last match against Kazna 5-4, still Utopia is really getting themselves wrecked lately. And I hope this week of rest will give them some time to prepare better for this match. But honestly, tactic-wise and everything, Gohard is a bit ahead. Not on points, on
it's also best of 13
standings, but yeah, it's also best of 13, so you can't avoid all the maps. And Kazna and Oops are waiting to see who will they play. In playoffs, when these teams finish their matches, they will play one additional match in best of 9 format, and that one will decide the final seeding. So the winner of that will play against Oops and the loser against Kazna. And on top of all of this, then we have for a grand final, which teams will go. So
Moscow,
who is
23rd of December.
first and second here in Katowice in LAN finals? Like they're going automatically, and the third team from EU will go based on online success. So that means if it is not a team, one of these two that won.
Yeah. So I mean, generally it's going to be more than likely one of the top 4 teams, but there's still a potential for Isuba to go from 6th place to Moscow.
They need to go to final.
But they're only 2 matches away from it, realistically. Playoff and then get through the next one.
I believe in Yukets, okay? Like, he will carry Isuba all the way.
Possibly. But I mean, is that the way you think it's going to go as well, Daki? Think it's going to be Ding? Think it's going to be... Did you think Utopia go hard?
I think it'd be Ding and Gohard.
And then for the finals, how do you think that'll go?
Ding Kazna.
Ding Kazna again, Mojo?
Actually, I don't know. It depends on who plays against Oops. If Gohard play against Oops, if it's Kazna Ding in one semi and Gohard Oops in the other, I think it's a Kazna Oops final. No, Ding Oops final. Sorry.
Ding,
not sure about
Oops.
that.
Yeah, well, I think Kazna will get through. Kazna have been playing the best so far, so going on past consistency, track record, it's the best chance I think Kazna have of taking another league title based on how they've played throughout the regular season. They are looking the strongest. They are showing the best tenacity to come back from being, for example, 4-1 down against the Gohard. So that's why I'm going to place my, if I had money to place on it, that's where I'd put it on. But that's my predictions is now the kiss of death. So Kazna Crew probably won't even get past the first match.
I don't think they rely on that, man. Don't worry about that.
Somebody was just asking who's on the left, so that's still Mojo, it's the Killzor, and it's Ekta.
I think they were talking about you.
But that's on the left, like...
It's the left of their screen.
That was about Mojo, see? He's on the left of the screen.
Ah. Feels
See?
bad, man.
See that side, Daki, on the screen? That's you're looking at it, that's the left. Because his shirt's kind of like Mexican style. Sereno's Gangstas. We're just getting updated by our sound engineer who's like totally into his American scene.
It's West Coast.
You know. So questions coming in. Casters, how long will you work as casters? You are good at this. We've all really only been casting since June last year. Done some desk work before it, but just straight up casting. Really, we haven't came into it beforehand with much experience, have we?
I was analyst since Grand Final 1 and onward every Grand Finals, and most of the events, actually all of the events that I didn't qualify to play while I was playing, and even when I stopped playing, I was still doing it.
I just kind of overslept every event.
But for
Let's
for match casting though, for actual casting of the matches, it was the same. We were all the same boat pretty much.
Casting in studio here since we came August last year. Before that, couple of months on some tournaments, like maybe half a year, maybe almost 2 years, let's say.
Same for you, Daki? Pretty much the same as me? June last year?
Yeah.
June last year, pretty much. All three of us attached to Wargaming in various different ways.
No.
Are the EU teams are known attached, known with Wargaming through different ways? Are the EU teams relatively stronger this season compared to other leagues? Elevate and NA look super strong. They only lost one match, but I don't think the rest of NA ranks anywhere near Elevate. Tornado look strong once again, as they always do. I mean, they're never going to really drop performance from what they did last season. I've not really been following much of the RU season. Mojo, you've been watching it a little bit, haven't you?
Yeah, I mean, Rush is doing really well. NSS, it's in Tornado.
Unique is doing an amazing.
Unique.
Unique
was a team that
they were the
really
team we thought was going to do big from last season, yeah.
Unique
finals.
is a team that didn't make to grand finals because of really peculiar situations with those
with
points. And although they were really highly qualified, they came from the silver and then they came really high up in the season. They just didn't qualify because they didn't have enough points because they didn't play the previous season, which was really unjust because they're a young team and really prosperous. So it's going to be a big fight on CIS at the moment. We have decent teams here in Europe now, so I think it's going to be again a big clash between Europe and CIS on Grand Finals. That's my thoughts.
I just feel like nobody's going to be able to match Tornado when it comes down to it.
We need to see because Tornado can be sloppy during the season, but usually when it comes to grand finals and such
That's
events,
the thing,
they
and they're
put the
even doing
gear
good
up
now
and
in the regular season.
When more money's on the line,
Like,
you know, kind of step
They're
up.
usually really bad in the regular season, and even now they're doing well in the regular season, which makes me even more worried when it comes to LAN.
I remember specifically from, because we casted the Russian finals here as well, because the Russian finals were in Katowice last year. We were talking about Unique and said, this is a young team. We expect them next season or the season after to be like super strong and pushing, you know, Navi before they became Rush and Tornado right to the end. So yeah, EU, RU, big thing. Elevate coming in from NA could potentially be an upset as well. They'll be hungry for more after how they did in the grand finals earlier on this year. In APAC, you've got the usual EL Gaming being super strong. 7 Pirates coming in with some ex-players of EL Gaming. Who do you consider the best player out of the callers? Just pure player skill, not including the calling or the tactics. If it's not callers, I would say right now Isney.
he's not a caller.
He's not a caller.
Callers then.
Maybe Insane, like when he can actually focus
Yeah.
on his plays, he's really good.
Stefan, but he's not necessarily
He's
calling
not
this
main
season.
caller.
He's caller.
Zafar is main.
And you cannot call him the
I wouldn't say I wouldn't.
No.
I would put it in, yeah.
I'd say Breakneck then, because he
Is
calls
he
on
kinda doing
he
the
calls on
calls?
some maps. He was like leading for them a little bit last season as well, if I'm not wrong. I'd say him then, because he can also lead. I'd say
You
him.
think he's leading now the Dink?
I don't know if he's leading now. I think he has a big impact, however.
Yeah, but that's not the main calls.
So here's
I
a
don't
question.
think they have a main call right now.
Okay, any of the maps you think could be suitable or interesting to put in the map pool? We kind of talked about this earlier on when there was a swap between Sand River and Steps. I don't know what other map I'd like to see in it. We joked about things like Dragon's Ridge or Port. Daki had flashbacks big time when we mentioned Port.
Seriously. Let's not even go there.
Ensk was the one where we'd get all the
Hey, I know a
draws.
map.
With the attack and defend format.
What do you think, Mojo? Steps?
Yes.
Steps without the climbs.
Well, Steps without climbs is okay actually to play. I know we were testing before the season to see Paris, and it's definitely not
Paris,
the
we
way
thought
to go.
Paris might work because it looked symmetrical, but it
Definitely not the way
didn't
to
work
go.
the way the meta goes on it.
No.
Paris
Somebody
is
else
one of the worst
actually
maps I played on in my life.
noticing a question here from chat. What is the single most important quality for a caller in a Wargaming League team? And I'm interested to hear both your opinions because you are both callers for your respective clans, and I know what both of you sound like when you're leading your clans. So how would you translate that into being for the Wargaming League? What do you think makes a good caller in a Wargaming League?
Few things, I guess. Tactical knowledge is the one thing. Coming up with new ideas, watching other matches.
That's me out.
That's all about like determination and time invested. Like he needs to invest a lot of time. He needs to watch other teams, other matches, notice their tendencies, notice their usual strats, notice their usual rotations, and keep it in the back of their mind. But I think the biggest thing is almost reaction speed. To be honest, like reacting on the fly, adapting on the fly, making the correct rotations. That's all about reaction speed. If he's like 10 seconds too low, then they can just lose the round because they get out-rotated for the rest of it.
Mojo?
Good insight in the game, tactical priority. Then reaction speed, as Daki said, super important. Knowledge of his own players, like their character and abilities, what can actually they perform, not what he would wish them to perform. And after all of that, if he can be calm while he's doing it, then you have a winning team.
Is chat suggesting Komarin or Mittengard for putting into the rotation?
Komarin for the win, for sure.
To have tips to be a champion on World of Tanks.
Neither of these two
Watch
would know.
Daki.
But me,
Watch Daki.
I am a European 3v3 champion. Neither of these two can say that.
3v3? That makes no sense. Trees fighting trees.
3 versus 3 champion. What did it take? Blood, sweat, and tears.
I understand.
Playing with Motten and Slaughter was an experience.
Motten carried you.
He did not carry me.
Somebody was actually asking a question about mines there in 3v3. I need to find that because that was quite interesting. Yeah, Daki, do you like mines since the European Cup? Yeah, that's interesting.
Everybody thinks I was like super tilted because I tried to climb with a bulldog on zero line and got set on fire. I literally had no clue what to do on Mines attack, and I didn't really care either, to be honest, because I knew I could beat like the 3rd, 4th place team no matter what. So I was like, I'm going to try and climb. Maybe I can beat the timing. He shot me with HE, set me on fire. I was like,
You
okay,
entertained
go
me
next
very
round.
well while I was casting it, mate.
Yeah.
I can tell you that.
And you can ask Molten and Slaughter. All I said was, oh, he set me on fire. Let's go next. That's it.
Three of us in a 3v3 tournament. Here's what would happen. I would be in the least important tank whatsoever, or I would be in a tank set up purely as
You would
bait
be a main
to
spotter.
get shot at for Mojo and Daki to do something.
You would be a main spotter.
And then I would let them carry me. So actually, yes, I would be completely up for being in a 3v3 tournament with these two guys.
But Daki lost the 1v1 against Alpha last night. Not just one. That was 4 of them.
4.
First of all, I was being generous to my fellow clan member. Second of all, I was very distracted. I couldn't focus on my game. Third of all, Alpha is just a superior player, I guess. He played mouse an entire season. Fourth, I wrecked Unji. That's all I care about.
Are you bowing down to Alpha? Are you being better to Alpha?
Well, he beat me 4 times, so...
Okay, there we go.
He probably has demos to prove it.
We did actually see if production had any questions to fire in any questions. Not really seen any questions really from them, so I guess they're trying to...
Let's just say I was
something
distracted,
witty.
okay? I couldn't focus on my game.
Okay. So how have you guys felt about the season as a whole? Has it gone as predicted? Has it gone, you know, how you think the teams would go and all that kind of stuff?
I thought I would win more bets this season.
Like, I missed so many matches. How will they even end up? Like, who is even going to win them? That was really... Okay, I can understand in the start of the season, but as the season progressed, I thought I would actually hit it better, but never mind. We already said what we expected on the start of the season. Nothing of that also happened. We expected much more problems with some of the teams who took new players like Oops and even Kazna and so on, but nothing of that happened. They ended up actually as top 2.
Yeah, I mean, the start of the season we thought it could be difficult for Oops. We thought not having Milan play with them was going to be a big thing because he was such a key player from the season before. Kazna Crew losing Stefan with him going to Go Hard, we thought that was going to be a major game changer, and it turned out that actually Go Hard looked a bit rough really this season because we expected him to do so better and he didn't do so great. Positive leaving Ding, replacing him with Senya. Fantastic pickup, to be honest, for Ding.
Yeah, if you have a player who is not 100% in a game and he's not motivated as much, and you replace him with someone who is, you always have a good pickup. But still, Ding is struggling, not because they're that worse or something. It's just like other teams are better in this season, and that's it.
What do you think about production and observers in this season?
I think we'll answer that off camera.
Wait, we had observers?
There's production.
There is also a lot of rules that are trying, Wargaming is testing at the moment, so you can see some of them. One of them is called like that 180 rule, when the camera has to be far away and so on, so on. So there is a lot of experiments. I saw Sansan asked before, will the 15 versus 15 be realistic next season? None of us actually know it yet.
Yeah, we talked about that at the start of the season. We said, like, you know, this could potentially happen. The whole point of the extended season, actually, yeah, that's a point.
There's only one rule.
What is the rule?
I'm always right.
And what is the second rule?
Even if...
The setup was perfect.
You're something there, man.
Daki's rule. Oh, Daki's always right. If it's not rule number 1, rule number 2, see rule number 1. There we go. Yeah, so going back to what we're talking about, at the start of the season we said the reason for having an extended season is that Wargaming have announced they want to change up the format of the league in some way. Whatever that way may be, we don't know. There could be potential future changes. For all we know, they could decide that the 7v70 format we have now is like actually really cool and we'll stick with it. But we talked about potentially, could it go to 15 versus 15? What would be involved in all that? The logistics, the vehicle picks even and everything like that. Whole new tactics, whole new teams would need to be formed for that.
I think it's all doable, but I like 770 as it is now, but I really have nothing against 15 versus 15. I played entire life, so nothing new for me there.
I think if it's going to remain 7v70, we need to have 7v70 playable in game. Click on game mode 7v70, there you go.
If it goes to 15 versus 15, I think just it will be a major challenge for spectating, like to spectate it properly. The ways we are using now will not be really usable, because there will be a lot of mini battles you need to follow, some in-game and so on and so on, and you can just not go with the camera above and just see the grow action all the time, because then you will lose the perspective what's actually going on. So that will require quite a lot of testing, and God knows where will it take if
There's
it happens.
a suggestion from chat saying we should just bring 100 players, put them in random tanks, and drop them on an island, and just have a world of tanks battle royal. It's like wherever you land, it's like once you hit the deck, that's what vehicle you're in. It's like, oh great, I've got a mouse. Some other guy's like, nuts, I've got a lol tractor. It's like, well, good luck getting into the circle before it comes and collapses on you. World of Tanks battle royal could be quite interesting.
Could be fun.
It'd be weird how to change your vehicles as the battle progressed. But just like a giant map, everyone a free-for-all?
No.
Almost like Rampage in a way.
Doesn't sound appealing
to
to
know how
me.
that went.
Driving around in my tank for 15 minutes to get killed by somebody sitting behind the rock in their FETD, yeah, I'm gonna pass.
People asking about your hat, Daki.
You can't buy it.
Every time we get asked this. Daki got that for being a
You're still gonna give me that one extra one, right?
3v3 champion.
Yeah, sure.
You
You
can
need to remind me.
Like, I need to remind, actually. Only people at Wargaming have them, so it's very hard to get them. Will there be map changes? More than
I
likely.
think I promised it to Steven.
I think if it
Oh, yeah,
did
that
come
works
in...
too. That's true.
Yeah, that was what it was. If it did come in 15 versus 15, there would more than likely be map changes. Still attack defense format, would we get that?
I don't think so. I don't think attack defense is viable with 15 versus 15 because that cap pressures are much easier to do. I think it's gonna be just straight fight.
The thing is what we saw in the EU versus RU tournament is that standard battle just doesn't work. To be honest, like it just doesn't work. It was like the Russians were just sitting in a corner when we had the entire map. They're just sitting in a corner, talking about what they had for lunch, for breakfast, with all the time in the world, doing absolutely nothing, moving on to the next map.
There is a possible of encounters, but attack defense would have to be tested.
Well, we did one attack defense. We did one attack defense on Cliff, and it kind of worked.
Would it work
like,
with one base rather than two?
It kind of worked, like except for like Shockish, like making amazing peaks and stuff like that, or like 6 tanks sitting on A5,
Skilling.
Is that not maybe where the original Nice Shockish Nice came from, though? Still can never really remember that. Nice Snake Nice. Which HD map do I like the best? That's actually a good question. I really liked El Haluf. El Haluf I thought looked absolutely fantastic in HD.
Clive.
Claf. What it means.
I just like the Greek architecture, I guess.
Yeah, actually, Cliff looked so different with the update. That was the one that had the biggest visual change, I would say. Cliff and Mines looked the most different. Visually stunning Mines. Like the big waves in Mines as well, but no, El Haluf looked fantastic.
I had a Titanic reenactment, okay, in Mines, sitting in the water. My heart will go on.
How does the song go?
No?
I think my ears are starting to bleed a little bit.
I think that's because you can hear yourself in the headset.
Possibly. Why lower levels aren't playable in tournaments? Example, tier 6 and tier 8s are playable in normal team battles. That is one of the things we said. If the 770 format was to continue, one of the things to kind of really support esports that we feel is you would need to have 770 in-game as a playable format for players to be able to just click on and select like you have the different team battles and stuff.
But like, I don't know, was that a question actually? Because all those lower tiers are allowed here.
No, but it's more like, why is there a game mode for tier 60s? There's a game mode for tier 8s. Like, it's the stronghold stuff, and we don't have a game mode.
Why is there not like a league structure for tier 6 and tier 8? Then why is there modes for, like, I think the question was, why is there no 6 or whatever,
742 again.
742 with tier 6s. No way. Yeah. So
the idea of having the tier 10s is that you're having like the kind of pinnacle of World of Tanks, so that's the attraction for people to work towards. Now, earlier on we talked about this at the box, and we have a clue because there is a prize that can be rewarded for the person who guesses.
I just want to say, man, this entire riddle, I hate it. I just hate it.
Daki has to be quiet and not give clues away because, well, he couldn't understand it. So the first clue that we do have to give away today, and now it's best to wait until we have all 3 clues rather than trying to guess it on this one, because if anyone guesses it on this one, then that's damn impressive. So the first clue is actually this. So you'd better listen carefully to win this prize. That is the clue. Not that is the clue, but the clue is you better listen carefully to win this prize. So you take that line, add it in with 2 more clues, work out what the thing is in the box, send your answers via personal message to us on Twitch, not to us personally, send it to WGL_EN. And if you're correct, you'll be kind of put in the draw, and then a winner will be plucked out.
I think there is a full article on Wargaming portal.
There is an article, yes, and
so
there is
everyone can read much more in detail.
Already various suggestions on the World of Tanks forum as to what's in it, so I can confirm, well, I can deny if you like, it's not Tomato the Lobster, because that would be kind of cruel. It's not a garage slot. It's not a free repair kit. It's not a golden Type 59.
We're not saying what's inside.
It's not the Plans for Serbs moon base. We have to get that out clearly.
I'll just go on a date with the winner. That's a good prize.
So that's this contest
that is not in a box.
over with no submissions coming in.
The prize is a bongo box to go on a date with me to any location in Europe. That's it, dude. Like, I'll give you 3 unforgettable days.
Daki has announced this, so when you win, by all means, challenge the fact that Daki promised a date with you to wherever you wanted to go.
He will take you on his own charge.
Yo. Yo. No.
Nobody else is going to pay for it.
Yep.
Unless somebody says, where do you want to send Daki away to? I'll be like, Davai, Siberia.
Not far enough.
One-way ticket.
I'm just reading Twitch chat, man. Bullies.
Bullies? How? Why? What's somebody saying?
Wait, scroll up a little bit.
Someday I would want a date with Daki.
No here. No here. This one.
Oh, wow. Oh. See, as I said, nobody would want to enter. You set yourself up for a fall there, mate.
Guys, whatever is in this box, you're going to get it home at your address. Free of charge, of course.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll just chip in with something.
It'll be Daki in a bow tie.
Yeah, we're going to pack him.
So we'll take some more questions, and I think that's pretty much all us done for today. We're going to be looking forward to next weekend. It's going to be on Sunday at 5 o'clock CEST. Or that might actually be CET by then. I don't know. I might get them mixed up because the clocks do go back because you fall back and you spring forward.
It's on Sunday.
Now, as always, 5 people at random have been selected to win a bonus code whilst we've been watching this stream. Now we can get a little bit frustrated if we see, well, congratulations, actually, Jerry Henna. He was asking questions earlier on in chat. It's the only name I really notice there for all the viewers. So congratulations to 5 of you. We're not getting upset this time because there's people we notice and think that they shouldn't get prizes.
If there was, I wasn't going to say anything anymore before it gets too rigged.
It gets too rigged. Rigged.
I'm just saying, everyone gets what is deserved, man.
Big time, yeah. So that's why if you lose bets, that's why you have to wear bow ties all the time. You can get your own ice cream afterwards. It means you have to go to Tesco, though, not the small shop. It's not going to happen, though, is it? Too far to walk. Okay, Mojo, anything you want to say before we go?
Just looking forward to playoffs, man.
Daki?
Looking forward to my ice cream.
It's no ice cream. Thanks very much, guys, for watching. We will see you all again on Sunday. It's been fun answering all your questions. And then I think that's us for Monday shows this season, unless we have any kind of special
There will be one
shows.
more before the LAN finals.
Okay, something to talk about then. So get your questions ready, folks, and we'll see you on Sunday. Thanks for tuning in.